Flow, making more money and making it better and making it longer. Who's in? Who's in with me?
I'm all in, and I know. And oh, this is going to be a very very exciting one. This is going to be an eye-opening one, very informative. I'm psyched. I am totally psyched to learn what you have cooking for us. And I know we're going right into the 6 points of the evaluation system. If you guys were with us last week, we started touching on it. We went right down, dove in deep on different aspects of mind setting and all that, right? And it's so fun. And so get ready. But today we're going to dive right in there, the 6 different evaluation, the 6 point evaluation system. Whenever you're considering a new venture, a new opportunity, because there's so many of them across. So let's get to it there, Seth. Let's get to it.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
you're going to bring up the slide and recapping. Last week we talked about attracting opportunities and
Yeah.
the kind of the 3 steps, like 3 steps to attracting opportunity. Number 1, you got to have an open mindset where you're looking for that. Number 2, you gotta give love to your network. You got to develop a network. The better your network, the better the opportunities that are going to come your way, right? And we talked about how to honor that network. And then the third step of the dance in attracting opportunity is the 6 point evaluation system, so that you make sure that if you're going to do something, that you do that you follow those opportunities that have the best chances, right? The best chances for success as an
And that's the
entrepreneur.
key. That's the key,
Yes.
Seth. I want to, because here's the thing. I know for me, I've learned the hard way over the years. Like something looks really good. Maybe you're looking at 3 or 4 of the things that are, oh, this is really good. I can make it work. But if there's some other components that are missing, it goes down the wrong road. A lot of time, a lot of effort, dreams, everything is enrolled in there. And so this is why this is so important, because I've done it myself. And I know you've also done it. We've all done this, when we first start working. So I just want to make sure everybody got the importance of this. You want each one of these in place. At least you want to know what you're looking for in each one, and what you're willing to settle for, but what you would really love to have, right?
Absolutely. And there's no crystal ball. You talk about having to learn the hard way. If you're an entrepreneur, you're going to learn the hard way. If you're doing anything, you will. It's not like you can read a book to avoid every concern, every problem, every risk. There is no perfect path, no paved golden road to success where there is no failure, no tripping, no skinned knees, no broken faces. Uh, that's not just for entrepreneurship. That's called life, right? Waking up in my bed this morning was a risk situation. But
Okay.
there would be risk involved. But the six
Yeah.
points, these can save you time. It's not a
Yeah.
shortcut, but it's a proven path, so
They
that
give us
you
a better
know.
chance to succeed. They give
Yes,
us a better chance to succeed. There you go. Yeah.
absolutely, and so you know what you're getting, so that you know what you're getting. Like, we're going to jump into these, and I think you're going to throw that slide up.
Yep.
And many of the opportunities that I've participated in my life, it's not as if, oh, I'm checking this off, it's 100% done. No, you need to. It's not. It's again. It's not a black and white objective yes or no binary, right? It's a 1 or a 0. It's a what is the landscape? What is the environment associated with this point? One of the 6 points, right? I mean, I've started opportunities. We're going to talk about point number 1, which is the company. I've started opportunities where the company was the biggest thing in question, right? but but it wasn't because it was a bad thing. It was just that, listen, if Steve Jobs calls you in 1984, do you know what one of the number one things you're going to have on the company is a question,
Yeah.
right? They don't have a track record. They're not maybe publicly traded. maybe their funding, is lackluster. So it's not that, oh, this everything's perfect and rosy. It's just understanding the environment and understanding what you're getting in the package so that you can make an educated decision. Where are you willing maybe to take on a little more risk or a little more of the unknown,
So,
right?
Seth, the
Yeah,
question here:
yeah.
does this have to do based, the, our knowledge of that particular industry or our expertise in that area as we're evaluating a company? How important is our knowledge in that company?
It's an interesting question. Uh, and of course, understanding the market. If you're going to invest your money in an investment vehicle, if you're going to invest your time, which is even more important than your money,
Mm-hmm.
if
Yeah.
you're going to invest your passion, your mission, then you owe it to yourself. You owe it to the people that you're making commitments to. You're owing it to, your potential customers, all the shareholders, all the stakeholders. You owe it to yourself to understand, to start learning the dance. I mean, don't show up to a dance and say, I don't dance, unless you're willing to learn how to dance, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, wow, I just look back at my career and it was, well, I need to learn something completely new. I'm leaving corporate America. I'm leaving 10 years at a multinational New York Stock Exchange traded multinational firm in the anti-aging world as a corporate kind of a marketer. And I'm moving into the wedding dress industry as an owner, partner operator. Like I didn't know anything, Anne, about about wedding dresses. In fact, like little divulgement here, a little transparency, I'm always transparent, right? But
Yeah, I
um,
was going to say, when are you not? So
I remember my business. I was just fresh, finishing up business school, finishing up my degree, and I remember my senior partners saying, "All right, Seth, okay, we're in wedding dress business." I was VP of operations. Okay, so basically everything, everything that had to do with running this company. And my partner, one of my partners, she said, "Seth, okay, I want you to run a profitability chart and a break even. I want to break even outlook financials." And I said, "Okay." And in my mind, I'm thinking, I never once ran
how
this
do you
in
do that?
school. Exactly. I was like, how do you do that? And I figured it out. You get things done. You learn things. So if I'm going to throw $100,000, or if you're going to throw $100,000 or $10,000 or $1,000 because that's your investment budget, then you don't want to just be in a crapshoot, right? Then you got to start learning. But again, that's part of this process. Step number one, you have there on the slides, the company, right? The company and the industry, right? If you know nothing about the industry, then knowing anything about the company, I mean, they kind of go in hand. It's hand in glove. So understanding the company and the environment that they're in may be a completely foreign thing to you. And guess what? That means you're going to need to do your due diligence, which will
Yeah.
come from your own personal research. If you're adept, then here's what you do. You go find people, network, who do know about that. Hey, I'm looking at opportunity. Hey, I understand. I know that you're in the coaching business, right? I know that you're in the whatever industry, right? Tell me more about what you know.
I think that's a really important point that you made here, because I know most entrepreneurs, especially right now, we have, I know personally, I've been in like six different industries, more than that, really. And a lot of us have, and the opportunities right now, because everybody is online and there's just more opportunities. So it's just like basically know what you're passionate about, know what you know, and know what you need to learn, and then make a decision about the company. Is
Yeah,
that about right?
Yeah, I think that's a start. I mean, I think that's a start because it's such a big thing. I mean, again, I come back to my experience, and then I left. You know, I was successful in the clothing industry, and I jumped back into the wellness field. Now, interestingly enough, I started investigating a new company and a new opportunity, and frankly, a new marketing method that I'd never done before. But because of my prior experience in the wellness field, now that I'm looking at another wellness company, all of that experience, the successes that I had
Mhm.
and the learning experiences, as you call them, right? Some people want to call them failures.
Yeah.
All of that experience was helpful. It was part of my the backdrop, if you will, or the backstage to help me get my bearings. One of the biggest things that you can do is just start to get experience. Now, I mean, experience, but doing things. You know, you've read 20 books about an industry. Great. What have you done? Right. Well, nothing, but
Get
you,
in it, let's
you
experience it.
get in
Yeah.
the pitch. Get in the pitch, which means get on the field, right? Get on the field and
Okay.
learn the game.
So let's get to the next one.
Oh,
The
wait, what?
price. If it's a
And can
yeah.
I jump back? I know
Oh,
we were.
sure.
I want to jump back to company. I do want you said, how's this? You know, if you do this and this and this, and I said, yeah, that's a great start. I have a couple of other thoughts. Um, some things that you want to look at when you're evaluating an opportunity or a company. Number one, who are the principals involved? Who are
Mhm.
the people associated with the company? I want to know those people. I want to know what is on their mind. I want to know what they've done. I want to know why they're doing it, why they've done what they've done. I want to know what their vision is, right? I want to know. Like I'm working. Maybe you've heard of this lady named Erin Brockovich. Anybody heard of Erin Brockovich? Okay.
Yeah, here and there, once or twice.
So I work with Erin Brockovich on a project, right? And and if you know who Erin Brockovich is and her kind of contributions to the world of health and what should we say, human decency and reporting in
Mhm.
in business, long-term health issues, standing up for people, right? If you've seen the movie Erin Brockovich, you start to get an idea about the organization based on the people who are attracted to that organization. If it's a publicly traded company, then there's a board of directors, right? There's an executive team. There are the customers. Like if I really wanted to understand a company, I'd want to, and let's say that they are a publicly traded company. I kind of want to jump in the mind of who's on the board of directors, who they attracted,
Mhm.
right? And why are they there? I want to get an idea about people in the C-suite and the executive levels. Um, I'd also want to get an idea about the people who are receiving that product, right? It kind of at all levels. That just be part of my due diligence of
You
understanding a
just
company.
opened up a can of worms, you know that, right? So
Yes, I
so
do.
hold,
Of
hold on.
course.
Now, if it's a publicly traded company, it's easy to look up. It's easy. But if it's not a publicly traded company, how do you get access to the information as to who's running the company? If it's just a mom and pop shop, you can just meet them.
Right.
Reach out to them on social media, set up a meeting, ask them questions.
Right.
But if it's that in between stage, that takes a little bit more work in there. So I'm seeing a whole another episode on that alone, right? Totally, totally. So,
Yeah, we
um,
can't jump into that, but you're right.
yeah,
But if you want to evaluate an opportunity, in fact, the number one thing, we have company up here, but what I've learned over my time in business is it's the people. Now,
mhm.
we're able to create corporations. Corporations are just an extension of the belief, the mindset, the passions, the offering of people. So I want to know who's behind the curtain. And I've been that owner who's created companies. I've been, the vice president, um, I've worked with publicly traded companies. I've worked with privately held companies,
Mhm.
right? And partnered with them. And at every single one of those opportunities, even when I was a junior partner, right, in the wedding dress business, I knew the 3 other partners I was going to go into business with. And I made the decision actually because primarily of one of those partners. All right, who I've actually talked about in other episodes, when we talk about networking. So you want to know who's involved. If you need more information about a private company, right, then talk to some. I mean, if you're looking at an opportunity, then somebody in that company probably wants to know you, because you're a prime candidate of the people that they're looking for. So make a call your contact and they say, hey, I'd love to meet with so and so. You got to understand what the company is and understanding the company structure. Again, I said I've worked with private companies, I've worked with publicly traded companies, small cap companies, medium-sized companies. When you're working with a private company, you have to realize that ship can move fast. I mean, if you've got a strong executive, or maybe a founder, owner, maybe it's a family-owned business, that business can turn like this, right? It can turn like this, and it can be very adept and make changes in the marketplace or cut you off or whatever, right? I mean, the leader has such an impact on that business. Their influences can be felt throughout. Now you go to a publicly traded company, and that can be very different because, well, now you have a board of directors that has responsibility to protect all kinds of people, all the shareholders and stakeholders. And then you have an executive team. So no one person can maybe exert incredible influence on that company, which is an awesome thing, right? It can be awesome. But at the same time, they might make decisions more on a committee, counseling, right, together team approach. And there's some safety there, right? Publicly traded companies have rules. Privately traded companies have rules too, but it just doesn't work the same. So
So the
understanding
pros and cons on each one.
It's just a different environment. Yes.
Yeah. So we have 5 more key points that we need to look at. Okay. So the next one is the product. So the company we decided we like. And then if we're going to be getting involved with the company, it's not just the company, it's what they're selling, the products and the services that they have. So we need to evaluate the product. Let's say the company passed the test. Now we're looking at the product. So what's the evaluation system with that one?
Okay, I have a couple of things. And you got to adapt this to the industries that you're in. Some of the hottest industries, technology and, automation, AI, genetics, genomics, health, all these varying, degrees of opportunities in different industries. But I like I'll give you my rundown. Is the product unique? Okay. Is the product unique? If you ever watch Shark Tank, this happens, semi-frequently. But anybody can create that product, right? Yeah. So number one, is it unique, or did you just enter, the store shelf where there's, 2,000 other products and they're all competing and yours is just kind of the same? Also, is it unique and protected? Okay. So do you have it's one thing to have a new idea, but is there anything that prevents anybody, or what does prevent anybody else from catching up with you next week, next month, next year, right? You might have the greatest recipe for smoked macaroni and cheese, if you can't tell what's on my mind right now. But that might be, and mac and cheese is, but it might be the best mac and cheese in the world, but is it protected? I mean, anybody else can kind of reverse engineer and create that. So what separates you, right? What is unique and separates? Why would they want what you have? Is it unique, and is it unique and protected? Okay. Is it emotional? Is the product that you have emotional? Does it connect with people so that it becomes sticky? When something is emotional, when they want it because it does something for them and it brings a quality, a timber, if you will, to their lives that is greater and independent from the product itself.
Right? So the impact of it. The
This,
benefit of the
right?
product
If
itself.
I take
Yeah.
a beauty product, if I take a, if I take a collagen product, right, and my skin starts to radiate, and 17 people tell me that, and I look in the mirror and I feel amazing, and that gives me confidence, that gives me true confidence, right, to go do something else. Guess what? This is not just a supplement anymore. This is part of my mojo. I was like, I'm the super, I'm the superhero. So, is it emotional? Um, is it consumable? This is a huge one for me, right? Is it unique? Is it emotional? Is it consumable? I've made my business, but caveat, wedding dresses are not really that consumable.
You
You know,
don't need that
we're
many of them.
we're not looking at
Hopefully, you need only one, right?
exactly. Hopefully, we're not looking for you to come by 7 times. All right. I was gonna say, post my clothing career in the dress goods industry, I've made my mark in the consumable industry. I'm looking for a product that people are using on a daily basis in this instance, and it might be in the health world and consumables a month. They might be buying that product from me. Hey, I don't want them to buy it every week. I want to buy it every month, right? I want them to buy 4 times as much every month. So is it consumable? Because if it's not consumable, if it's a durable, if it's something that they're only going to buy once, or they're only going to buy once every 7 years, or every 10 years, right? Or every 3 years, that's different than if they're going to buy every single month, right? Um, and are they going to have a repeat need, right? I might sell a book. If I sell a book, then I consumed it, but I only consumed it once. Am I going to buy that book from you again? Right? Probably not. It means I got to create another book, right? So unique, emotional, consumable. Those are, I would say, the biggest three. Affordable. You definitely need to look at at your target market and figure out if your product is going to be able to be purchased over and over and over. Is it expandable? And what I mean by that is, can this product or a version of this product find itself in another country? Meaning, can you expand that product to an international or multiple international markets?
So it would be internationally accepted.
Yes.
That there are some things that are not internationally accepted. So this is something a human being, it doesn't make a difference where they are, they will want this. Yeah. Love it. Okay, so this is great stuff. Okay, now we're looking at the timing.
Okay, love it. I love timing, and I'm an entrepreneur, and I recruit entrepreneurs all around the world. And so, of course, one of the things as a recruiter, you're always painting a story, right, of the strengths of your story. And this is one of the key indicators that has really been harped on, almost myopically, right? It's business all. For example, I'll throw this out to you. In real estate, they've always said there are three laws in real estate, and they are
Location,
location,
location, location.
location, right?
I used to be in real estate.
Okay, yes, you picked up on that one. And a lot of times they'll say in business, or in marketing, that it's the three rules are, it's timing, timing, timing. Of course, timing is important. If you have great timing but you don't meet the other criteria, then you it's a great time to get out of there. Um, but I want to put some perspective on timing. Timing can help you do in a shorter period of time what might have taken a lot longer.
Leverage,
It's
leverage.
it is a form, and we've talked about leverage and
Yeah.
leveraged income. Timing is a form of leverage. I mean,
Mhm.
you could accomplish in 12 months with impeccable timing what you might not otherwise accomplish in a decade, right? That's why many of us become entrepreneurs, because we're actually looking to in 2 to 5 years, 3 to 5 years, create what we otherwise wouldn't in 40 years, right? So when it comes to timing, sometimes people think, oh, I need timing timing equals the company is young, right? Or the company's at its ground floor opportunity. Like the company's at the launch or the pre-launch. And that may be the case. It's not a yes or no. Again, it's not binary. It just changes the flavor of it, right? I've participated in startups several times, and it was awesome. And I did in a short period of time, what it would have taken me otherwise longer. I've also created timing in opportunities or companies that had maybe a larger or a longer profile, right? So to me, timing is more about the overall opportunity in front of us, the timing. And this may be another episode, the diffusion. Pardon me. What do they call it? What do we call it? The law of the law of diffusion of innovation. Okay, the law of diffusion of innovation, which essentially means that a new opportunity, in this case, a product or something around that nature, okay, a new market that's being born, goes through a timing curve. We used to call it just the S curve, right?
But it's also known as the bell curve. The bell
Yes.
curve, yeah.
More appropriately, it is the bell curve. The S curve is actually just the top part of the bell, right? But the bell curve shows the diffusion of innovation. You've got your early adopters, right, and your innovators in that first 2 to 3%, and then you've got a larger percentage of people, 17% who are the early adopters. That's only like 20%. We've only talked about 20%, and that's where you're spending most of your time. And most of companies go out of business, and it takes a lot of energy and a lot of investment. Why? You think you've got the greatest idea, the greatest product in the world, but what? Well, nobody knows about it because the law of diffusion of innovation. You just haven't hit what they call critical mass. And it's that point on that curve where you go from moving really, really, really slow and everything is just hard, right? It's 1-to-1 to you hit a critical mass in that your early adopters have now started to get into the masses, right? We're into that next phase of not late adopters, but up to the early masses, then the late masses, and then the late adopters.
So,
right?
so it seems to me that it would be really important, one, to be really mindful of who it is that you're marketing to early on. As they say, the fire starters, the whisperers, the influencers, all of them. The right product at the right time, something innovative, put it in the right person. Again, the fire starters. So the product and the timing go together hand in hand, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, none of this, it's not like, okay, you always need to be at a publicly traded company that has a #1 patented product and that is in early impeccable timing and they're in their first 24 months of business, no, it's just understanding what are you getting, what's on the table. Every opportunity is different. For example, if you're looking for massive timing opportunities, but you're in a market where you're going after the late adopters, then you might be getting something very different. On the other hand, maybe you're coming into this 10 years into the development. We're going to talk about trends next. You're coming in 10 years into the development of a new market, and the innovators, the early adopters, those are passionate people who they sweat and breathe and bleed whatever this product or this genre is. They're already done, but you're coming in kind of on that wave, and you're coming in with a superior product, incredible marketing, incredible backing from a company, and you're now entering the early masses, which is, by the way, the early masses, the late masses, that's like 70% of the population. Yeah. Right there. So you just kind of got to understand where you are in timing. I want to do well. and I want to use leverage. I want to skyrocket. I want to ride critical mass. But you also have to understand where you are. I've been working on a project for a decade or more in a very innovative part of the healthcare field, that if I were to just go out and talk to people, even who are generally familiar with health and wellness and supplementation, or whatever, that they kind of like scratch their heads. Like 80% of the people are still going to scratch their head at me because they don't know. So I'm still, after a decade, and by the way, I'm doing 70 million personally in sales, but after a decade plus, I still haven't really probably got to the early masses. It's just important to understand where you are, because when you understand the dance moves and the dance steps, it helps you manage your expectations for what you should be creating, right? Me, I'm still riding this horse because I'm pushing this technology through its timing cycle into the masses, right? So that's timing.
So that leads us right into the
Trends.
trends. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
No person is independently bigger than the trends in the world. So you think you're the best pilot on the best, plane, the weather will affect you. So you think you're the best pirate on the seven seas and you've got the best ship. You are a mouse in a house, right? You are in an environment, and none of us are independent of that environment and the market forces. You can't necessarily really change. Don't try to be that person that I'm going to go change the world and I'm going to push against it. I'm all about being a maverick, but I'm going to use the wind. If you're always fighting against the wind and the wave, you will die. You will die, and you will die skinny and gaunt and hungry, because you just can't fight. It's like, I know I'm
You
throwing
guys chasing pirates and turning into mice. And
have I proved my point?
wait.
You better have market forces pushing you. So you need to understand the trends. Where is the market going?
So do we do research on this? Where's the market going? How do we know where the trends are going when it comes to something specific? If it's not in front of the masses yet, because we want that sweet spot, right? We want the early adapters, and we want to go to the top of the bell curve. And so do we follow the influencers? How do we get this information to know if it's the right time and the right trend combined?
Well, number one, I always tell you, you are the CEO of the business. So you're ultimately going to make the executive decision. You're going to make the big decisions. You're the CEO of your health, your bank account, your life, your relationships, your spirituality. But you got to do your information gathering. I do a lot of work in the ministry. Ministry has made a tremendous impact in my life. In fact, I served in the full-time ministry in my late teens, my early 20s. And I remember a sermon that I heard. It's about revelation, right? People want a revelation. They want some divine guidance. I want divine guidance in my business career. Are you telling me? Yeah, absolutely. And the couplet goes like this: if you want better revelation, get better information. Right? Like, I'm sitting there saying, God, tell me where to go. God's like, why don't you get up and open your eyes? Okay. Right. I mean, you have to do your investment. So yeah, you start to research, you start to go down some of those rabbit holes. Save yourself some time and follow people who've already laid some of the groundwork. Ultimately, you're going to.
By the way, I think this is a perfect time to explain what the CEO means. What does the CEO stand for?
Okay. Big reveal.
So
Okay,
the timing and the trends.
I'm going to rip this. I created the CEO movement. We work with women, CEO women, and some men too. I'm not leaving the men out. My passion
How
is
nice of you.
women. Like, hey, look in the mirror, Seth. You're a man. Championing business and looking at the trends and where things were going. A number of years ago, I said, well, it's online. Of course, it's online. It's like, well, welcome to Common Sense, Seth. But this is before a lot of people in my profession. I wasn't the first. I wasn't the first to say it. But I certainly wasn't in the masses, right? I was making some moves before a lot of my counterparts were, and I said we need to create entrepreneurship online.
So this is
Did you catch
going
that?
back 10 years. So this is going back 10 years or so.
Not even
Where
10
a
years. Not
lot
even
of
10,
people,
again. I'm not
yeah.
an early. I'm not an innovator. I'm not an innovator of the internet. I'll pass that off to other people. But I'll say in my genre, I'm an early adopter, right?
Okay, well, let me explain it a different way. The reason I wanted to bring that up is because it's creating entrepreneurs online. That's a
Yes.
trend. I know for me, I've been training experts to be interviewed and producing their own web TV shows for like 15 years. But when we started, very few people wanted to get online. They wanted to be interviewed on TV. So we were doing media training and that. And as things evolved, but we could see what was going on. And so I've been riding the bell curve, if you will, with this. And I wanted to bring that up because if you're watching, and maybe, let's say for you 7 years ago when you created CEO, 10 years, but the masses did not embrace. COVID had a huge impact on entrepreneurs online. So the trend right now is that you got to get online. Doctors taking care of patients online. 3 years ago, what do you mean a doctor is going to take care of me? What kind of doctor would that be, right? We couldn't understand that. We couldn't see it. And so, as I sort of see, I'm like, I don't think we've ever explained
Yeah.
creating entrepreneurs online. That's a beautiful, perfect example of the bell curve that you're talking about.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's only going to get bigger. We don't
Yeah.
really fully understand right now, even those who are highly active, where this is going. I mean, we just had an adoption actually in our family, and of course, in an adoption, you need to go before a judge. Guess how we did that?
Online.
A WebEx meeting. We did it. Like the judge doesn't even you don't go to his courthouse. He sends you a link, and he's got his gavel there, and he's in his gown, and your attorney's, our family attorney was there online in his house, right? I'm sure he probably had like golf shorts on. If he had a shirt and tie on up here. And we had it was cool. We had like 20, 30 people in our home who were watching it on a big screen, and we were in a different room, an adjoining room, there, me, my wife, my daughter. So we're moving this way. But here's one thing I will say. Most of your friends are not making money online. Like being online, hey, we've hit a critical mass. The masses are being online. 2 billion people on Facebook, nearly 1 billion people on 500 million
All of
people,
them.
is it?
They're
LinkedIn,
billions on all of them.
Instagram, blah, 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 all these.
Yeah.
But most people aren't making money. Jobs have shifted, and work has shifted, and meetings have shifted to like Zoom and live stream and whatnot. But creating entrepreneurs online, creating a money-making system business, that's still in the early adoption phase. That's a trend. We're going to see more of it, and we're going to see a whole lot more of it. And those who don't adapt to that, you ride the wave, you miss the wave, or you're crushed by the wave. You
By
pick.
the way, I
You
love
pick.
that. So with that, we're gonna move on to
Yes.
money. How are we
Okay.
making money? You said a lot of people are online, but they're not making money. A lot of people are investing a lot of time on social media. A lot of people are doing a lot of things online, and it's taking forever to actually turn into profits. So before you jump into a company and promote a product, you want to understand how you're going to make the money, right? So what does it look like? What are we looking for?
How, when, right? How
How and
and
when?
when. So how am I going to make money? I want to know that opportunity, whether I'm investing in a company that I'm going to have nothing to do with, right? That's an opportunity, perhaps.
Mhm.
Whether I'm investing my time and my money into a new business, I need to know how I'm making money. I left corporate America. I knew how you're going to make money in corporate America. Salary or commission, or you're on an hourly. Pretty much it, right? And maybe you got some bonuses. You absolutely know when you get that job how you're going to make money. Same with an opportunity. Sometimes early entrepreneurs, I'm going to say, we get so enamored by the idea of the dream. I mean, it's dreamy. Writing your own paychecks is dreamy. Having unlimited income ceilings, it's dreamy. Creating residual income models that can pay you month after month, year after year, decade after decade, that's dreamy. But sometimes you can't get so locked up in the dream that you don't look at the details, right? And so just understanding how are you going to get paid. Oh, in my wedding dress company, I knew when I left corporate America and I lost my hourly, I lost my investments, I lost my 401k and my match. Those were all, I lost my employee perks. Those are all part of compensation. What did I gain? Well, I gained running my own company, my salary was going to be 75% of what it was. That's going south, by the way. Okay. That was part of, but I knew that, right? I knew that was part of the risk analysis. I knew that I had built in I want to say an earnout, if you will, monthly and quarterly bonuses based on sales. So I knew I was going to be very focused on making sure that we sold a lot, because I was going to get a certain percentage on every single product that we went, and maybe I could make up, right, 75% of what I was making plus these bonuses, plus sales based bonus, right, on a regular basis. I knew I was going to get, I ended up getting yearly dividends. Oh, I wasn't getting dividends of corporate profit when I was working in corporate America. So understanding things like that. As I moved on, I started looking at residual income models. And we've talked about that on our previous episodes. If you haven't seen that, go back. But I started looking at, okay, how can I invest my time today, create recurring consumable products that people want over and over and over? That's, on a subscription basis, and I can get paid on that customer's purchase month after month after month after month. And what does that look like, and how does it happen, and when am I going to get paid?
Yeah.
Compensation is a big deal.
Yeah, no, that's huge. And as people get online, I know that a lot of people are looking into affiliate marketing. Basically, it's you retailing somebody else's products for them and getting paid a commission for it, whether it's a physical product or an online program of some sort. So a lot of people are familiar with that, and we see it. We see it often. So, but you can tell if I have so many people buy this, I will make so much money, and that's kind of the way it is. Whether it's just your products, you want to look at I guess your own compensation plan with your own, it's easier to do. But then when you're looking at promoting other people's products, there's the percentages and things like that are involved. And so when it gets more complex, the regular affiliate program is, it has like maybe two tiers. You get 20%, 30%, 40%. And if you refer somebody else, you get 5% of that. So that's pretty easy to understand. But then when we go into the multi-level marketing companies, that's like, that can make a brain scramble. It's like, I know. I'm still trying to figure out how all the different ways it works, because it can be pretty complex. And so in that case, what are we looking at there? What are some of the
Great question.
questions we should be asking?
Great question. And I think generally speaking, when you're looking at compensation from an opportunity, again, how are you going to get paid? Is this a deal where you're hoping for something to explode and you're going to get a big payoff? Maybe, it's from an investment that goes, maybe you bought Bitcoin, hope you did, and it went up 1,000 times. Right now you're a Bitcoin billionaire. Or you start a company and the whole idea is build it and sell it, right? I mean, that's a lifestyle. You're gonna be in the trenches, build, 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 build. Hopefully everything, worked out and you're able to sell. Is this just a deal where this is an opportunity where I can work for myself and make the same amount of money, but instead of working for somebody else, I'm kind of got myself on salary, right?
Mhm.
Is this a situation where I'm really just doing somebody else's selling, right? Or affiliate, or I've got or maybe I'm selling my own stuff on Etsy, or I'm selling something on Amazon and drop shipping, and and it's just kind of a gig, right? Or is this something where I'm building a system, something that has value independent of me? And that's really where I've really I've really invested myself the last 20 years. All of those things we just talked about are work. And if you're going to
Mhm.
do anything, and if you want to if you want to create the greatest assurance that it's going to be profitable, it's going to be a lot of work, right? There is no formula that says put in a little, get a lot. Doesn't I don't know that
Oh, come
formula.
on, really? No,
Yeah,
you just
sorry.
yeah, no,
Sorry.
you
Okay.
just messed me up,
I
right?
know. I know. So I know I'm going to have to work, but if I'm going to have to work,
Yeah.
whatever that is, then how do I maximize? Right? That's the when. Like when, and maybe I should have said how, when do I get paid and how long? Ooh, I like that. When, pardon me, how, when, and how long. So when it comes to network marketing, and I remember looking at for my first network marketing compensation plan, 30 years ago, and just like, oh, how does this
Oh,
work?
oh,
And
oh,
then a year later, I'm still,
I'm so glad you're doing that. I'm so glad you do, because
uh,
that was
you
the
know,
look that I had on my face. I'm like, huh? And those
I'm
of
going to
you
tell you
out there
this.
who have the same expression. By the way, you're lagging a little bit, so I'm talking over you, I can tell. But just a
It's
little
okay.
bit. Let's see. You bet.
But here's what I've learned about network marketing compensation. Network marketing compensation is one of those systems wherein, whether you build it massive or whether you build it, on a smaller scale. Let's call it small, medium, or large, or grande, right? It can have longevity. That how long can be very different, right? And it doesn't mean you have to make $1 million to have it last for long. You could, I have a friend. Who 13 years ago saw a young company, signed up, went to work, worked it for a year or two, and to this day he makes 15, 18, $20,000 a year, right? A year, that just comes in every single month, and all he does right now is consume, maybe $200 of product every single month, right? He's on the product. He loves the product. He's on the Kool-Aid, if you will, right?
Mhm.
uh, and he hasn't done anything for over a decade, Anne. Okay, so I'm not talking about $1 million producer. I'm just talking about a system, right? Network marketing that has, usually most companies have 4 or 5 or 6 different ways that you get paid. You're like, well, why can't it all be the same? Well, if you wanted it
So,
to, oh,
so what? As you're explaining this, we hear a lot, either you work for your money or you make your money work for you. And this is investments, right? We invest in different things. It could be stocks, it could be real estate, it could be whatever. Then, when there is also investing your time, energy, and yes, money in people and systems. Like your friend you were describing, he obviously 15 years ago, he did have to do something. He had to invest time, and he has to
mhm,
invest money and energy in learning the system, supporting people, and then riding away without having to do anything. So at any time, he can choose to go back in and press the button again, right?
mhm,
Get involved. And so this is a whole another twist, right? Being intentional as you're describing, okay? Choosing the company with the right product. Is it the right timing? Looking at the trends, looking at the compensation plan. And it seems to me that this is more like a lifestyle opportunity, right? Lifestyle opportunity. It's choosing and understanding the compensation plan, I think, is a big part of it. Because a lot of times people think, like you were describing, oh, I'm going to start this business. I'm going to make $1 million next month. No, it doesn't work like that. It takes a lot of time and effort to get a business up and running. The entrepreneurs that are getting online, it takes time, and we hear about new businesses, a lot of like 90% of new businesses, shutting down the first 5 years and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So in anything, you have to look at it. But it was just another twist on, you work for your money or make your money work for you. And in this case, it's a combination of your work and time and energy and, all the stuff that you do. Anyways, it just seemed like that kind of jumped out at me. So
I
yes, I see.
agree. You work for your money works for you, or your systems work for you.
Oh, I love that.
And that leads us to point number
Yes.
6.
Yeah. Well, let's get to point number 6. Here we go.
Systems,
Yeah.
right? If you walk into a franchises have used systems to invite entrepreneurs to follow an opportunity where they don't have to do the product creation, right? They don't have to do as much of the marketing. They don't have to. It's not a unique experience necessarily. They walk in, and if I walk into a whatever fast food, for example, or let's not do fast food. I'm not in the mood for fast food. But if you walk into a franchise, there's a standard operating the owner to take the employees through so that the customer is getting a repeatable, duplicable, similar system or a similar experience, right? Every single time. Incidentally, I'll say this: did you know when franchises were kind of being born back in the 1900s, mid 1900s, 40s, 50s, let's say, they weren't always thought of very well. They were a new type of business approach, a new type of an opportunity, and there were less than there were colorful and less than honest, I suppose, people, purveying franchises. And so there was maybe a little bit of a stigma also associated with the franchise model, which we don't really experience today. Today we all basically accept that franchising as a model. I'm not condoning any specific company, but there have been plenty of companies that have been highly successful in the franchise model, right? But still, you can look at a franchising. I mean, you can get a franchising book. I've looked at them. They're this thick, and all kinds of franchises, from franchises that paint lines on asphalt to, food consumption, all different kinds of services, products, industries. But we generally expect that the franchise model is an acceptable model. Network marketing, right? I think is going through, it's maybe behind because it actually came franchising model, 50s, 60s, really, really, really early on. But we've seen enough successful companies in that industry to realize, oh, hey, you know what? There actually is something to that. Now, we need to apply the 6 points when we're evaluating any opportunity, whether it's a franchise, whether it's an investment, whether it's starting your own business, whether it's starting your own business in a network marketing company, right? But systems, you want systems to work for you, or you will always be working, right? So what are the systems? What are the onboarding the systems? What are the systems for training and leadership, right? Growing the business, building the business, and leading the business. Okay, systems.
Perfect. So just want to make sure everybody gets a good look at this. The 6 point that we're going to be looking at or have just gone through in depth. Gosh, so much information. The company, the product, timing, trends, compensation, and of course, systems. So, gosh, so much great information as always, Seth. You just you did dive into actually each one of these could have been just a segment in its own, and we probably will, right? I
Yes.
don't know. Maybe we need to take a look at that. We'll have a whole year full of content created. So, anyways, I think it's time to wrap it up. Yeah,
Hey,
and I know
this
you
was
gave
two
me
episodes for one. 2 episodes for one.
Yes, absolutely. But it just the beauty of this is that covering every aspect of it, every point from all different aspects, and that was the important part here, because people are getting online from different industries. They're coming online, different backgrounds. They're coming online, different expertise, different passions, and to be able to find a place where they can integrate their own experiences with their expertise and the opportunities in front of them. So I love the way you actually looked at it from all different, vantage points, if you will, and explained it, so we can easily say, "Oh, that's where I am." Okay, so thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. This has been awesome. 6-point evaluate opportunities, and I'm excited about next week and what we've got coming up. So thank you for listening in. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for creating and making this happen. We're not here if you're not here.
Yeah, excited. I'm loving doing this, and stay tuned. We'll be back here next Monday, and yeah, just look for the announcements. And there's a lot more coming. We're gonna be dropping a lot of great nuggets here, and some surprises coming up. Some great announcements coming up, and yeah. Thank you so much again, Seth. Love doing this, and we'll see you everybody next week. Right? Bye bye, everybody.